Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome in. How's everybody doing? Whoa. Wow, 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 wow. What's up, Ace? So chic. How's it going? What is going on? I like the worms in Adventure Time. Yeah, yeah. Man. I need to rewatch Adventure Time someday. Thank you for the speed. I appreciate it. Anyways, today we're going to be working on Starground. I know, crazy, crazy. Absolutely insane. But my goal today, hopefully we can get questing a little more finalized and work a little more on the new dungeon. So, that is the plan. I can probably go make that region not hidden anymore. Yeah. Since last stream, I've messed with my computer settings a little bit. I also reinstalled my BIOS. So I'm hoping that that fixes our funny issues where the editor keeps freezing. Let's hope, because I am getting tired of it. Anyways, let's go. Whoa. Thank you for the hydrate. Much appreciated. So, let's just load up the game, see where we're at, and figure everything out. How's your game been going, Oshik? You still working on that, the 4-player multiplayer game? With the hammer class now? Sick, nice. Unless you mean sick as in you're sick. Which is not nice. Okay. Yeah, that sucks. My, both my brothers have been sick, actually, and my sister. I've been trying to evade the viruses and the germs. Hopefully I don't also get sick. We'll see how that goes. But I hope you get better soon. Makes me wonder if I should go, like, get my flu vaccine. Maybe I should. Alright, here we are in this funny little game I like to call Starground. So, let's go to the space hub. Who put all this garbage here? It's me. Okay, so I just, before we started, added in the 2 quest arrays and dictionaries into the save component. So hopefully now that data will get saved normally. It should, theoretically. But we're gonna double check and make sure. Blue planet, yeah. So we're gonna print active, nope. Quests. And that'll start going crazy in here. So right now we don't have any active ones. If we go ahead and say, let's kill some guys, except... Now it shows it over here. It shows it in active quests. Resource file not found. I have no idea what that's all about. Res 15? What? You guys know what that means? Well, I don't know what that's all about. It's probably something in our questing table or whatever. Anyways, it's printing out stuff in here. So theoretically, we should be able to quit. I know 15 doesn't exist. I just wonder how it's amount. Maybe that's what's going on. I have no idea. Oh, image 2? Oh, is that grabbing the image? Let's see. That's going to be inside of our initial generation of the quest. I think it's generate available quests where that happens. Or it's not in there, it's in our generate script. Okay. Thank you for the hydrate. Oh my goodness. So, kill 0 amount. One, it'll get the name of the entity. And now we also have this image in here, but since we don't have that set to anything, that's the problem. So just as a placeholder, I'm going to just set it to like a stone wall top. Because it should say that in the objective now, like a little icon of the enemy. But anyways, if we hit continue on this, hopefully we still have our active quests. Yes, we do. And it shows it there. Alright, so that's good. So questing stuff is persistent now. I guess we're gonna have to add another menu to cancel out quests that we have. We can just do that inside of the quest board in the Space Hub, probably. So right over in here. We'll just have like a little separator, and then it'll have a list of active quests that we can click on and cancel or whatever. Discard. So that'll work. Okay. Is there any volume for this freaking game right now? Doesn't matter. Kill him. Destroy him. I need to pick up all these random items. Did I add that command in yet? For clearing inventory? I did. Do I want to clear my inventory? Yeah, sure. This is quiet. I hear it now. Zap him. Zap him. Kill him. Destroy him. End his life. I will kill every last one of them. They all deserve to die. Anyways, so what's next for questing stuff? This checks when it's all done and stuff, and then we're gonna make it so you can actually accept the quest. Or like, you know, complete it. And I think we'll do that either at the quest board or talking to an NPC. Be able to like go up to him and be like, oh, thank you so much for completing my quest. You know. Oh, the quest board's too small? Yeah, I think I might make it a little bit larger. I'm thinking maybe have it expand out this whole area. Maybe even take out these two tables here, just to give myself some more space for more quest board stuff. Maybe move those tables over here or something. But yeah, I want it to be a little bit more prominent here. I think we also might put up a little like quest sign, kind of like how these guys have their signs here, like with the combat sign and the fishing sign, you know. Just so it's a little more obvious what that is over there. Same with this guy, he's got his little store sign. But yeah, I think that's probably what we'll do. Alright. So anyways, does it show in the objectives now of this? It's not showing the image in there. It's not sure what's up with that. I probably just need to relaunch the game, actually. So, hey, 4-star Yelp review, welcome in. How's it going? Okay. So, we already have all the systems and set in place to track our kill count. So we just need to figure out, like, I guess what we need to decide on is how and where will the player complete a quest, right? So one option is just going to the quest board and having a list here of active quests. You click on the one that's done and you click complete. I know Max talked about being able to talk to the NPCs to complete the quests, and I think it'd be cool, but I might just start with the easier route of being able to complete it there. And then later on, if we decide we want to be able to redeem quests only through NPCs, we can do that. But I think having the ability to do both would probably be a good idea, right? So I'm just going to start with allowing you to complete a quest here. Just in case it's something that's like not necessarily attached to one individual NPC. Maybe it's like some kind of bounty or like, you know, like a quest in the whole solar system, not necessarily just people on the space hub putting them up. Kind of like how in No Man's Sky there's like individual NPC quests that you can do, but then there's also like the board and the anomaly or whatever of just larger, more procedural quests. But anyways, the space government quest, exactly, yeah. I do wonder what the deal is with the space government around these parts. Like, are they still around? I don't know. Okay, so I guess let's just work on this menu and let's start displaying the active quests down here so that we can discard them and then also accept them. You might be able to blueprint it. I don't know if it'll let you. Let's try. Oh no, you can't blueprint in the space hub anymore. I just fully disabled it if you're in the space hub, so you cannot. You used to be able to, but then I realized that was bad because now I have this one. Okay, it doesn't even let me build here either, or to place down blueprints, so yeah, we're good. You can middle click it just because it counts as a building. So that's something that I need to fix, because you can do that and then see the actual sprite of the fountain. So, you know, a little funny. But that's really easy fix. I just have to make sure if the building is hidden, then you can't middle click to duplicate it and build more of it. Should be pretty easy. But yeah. So let's uh-oh. Well, I don't know why it's not unbreakable. A little quirky, but we'll fix that. Alright, so we're going to be opening up the UI for the quest board. Getting the recipes for the decorative stuff in the space hub would be cool quest rewards. Yeah, I think it would be really cool to have like unlocks for buildings and different things as a quest. This is kind of cool. I think that is a really good use of like the decoration stuff. It's kind of like that in Cult of the Lamb, actually, right? Like when you go into the dungeons, the thing that you're really bringing back is like new buildings and decorations for your colony. So it would be kind of cool to do that concept. Let's close some tabs here. I got a billion of them open. Yeah, I could probably get rid of the decoration research and just kind of pivot it over to being like a quest unlock, or even just items that you find out in the dungeons. That's a thing that Cult of the Lamb does, where you can find like a drop for a recipe. So could do that too. We could do a combination of all of it. Okay, so let's continue now. I just want to see if this is going to start displaying icons, and then we can start diving into the UI. Oh yeah, I do have that up there. Let's let's get rid of that. Oh, also, I think I messed up. We're gonna delete the down to jam tag. My bad. We're good now. Still isn't showing their icon, so I'm not sure. Oh. It's just because I'm stupid. I said preload, but that's, you don't do that when it comes to text like this with a rich text label. So that's why it's not working. Well, that should probably fix it. Let's restart again. And then let's just work on the little section of your active quests. Shouldn't be too bad. Let's continue. We'll probably just do it kind of like how... I mean, there's two ways we could do it. I'll go over that 1 second. There's like how the shop does it. So if you talk to Gearbert, or Fishbert, sorry. He has like 2 tabs for buy and sell, right? So we could do that same thing over in the quest board where we just have, you know, available and in progress quests like that in 2 different tabs. That's one option. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, now it's showing the little image there. So it looks like we're good. So I'll link that up to have an icon for each of the enemies. Or just all the entities. Okay. Well, what's the route we want to go? So we could either do where the active quests just kind of stack up beneath there. I'm trying to think of a UI that does that. It's kind of like a little bit like the save load menu, how the auto saves are like anchored at the top here, and then it shows your regular saves. So that's one option. The only thing though is that if this the number of quests in here are kind of variable, it's gonna get annoying though, because you have like maybe one day there's 3 quests and then all of a sudden there's like 10, and so you have to that separator is constantly moving around. Yeah. I don't know. Just thinking what I want to do here. Oh, tabs or list? I kind of like having tabs a little bit, I feel like. What do you guys think? It's either a turn-in tab or turn-in building that you interact with and does all your completed stuff in one thing. Okay. Yeah, so something where you just like, it's a building that you... I mean, the thing is, I want to have like the ability to discard quests too. So I do want to show active quests in here. Yeah, I'm thinking we do tabs. I think it'll just be a little more organized. I do like how the tabs are here in the funny Fishbird. So I say we probably do that. Requires less scrolling, you know. All right, well, let's open up the quest board you want. Fishbird, my goat. I know. Okay, so the way that that's set up in the game is we have the separator here at the top with the tabs above the separator. So we could do it that way also. I would like to just be consistent across all of our UIs, right? Because that's how it should be on every single one of these shops. Yeah. So how did I do that then? Let's go to the display shop. So I did a H box and then a tab container. And then each of these things is a V box with a V separator and a scroll container. So we can do that. So on the H box, we want to add a tab container. Right here. And then this is going to have our 2 tabs. So it's going to have buy and sell, or, you know, not buy and sell in this time, but so available And then active. And this is going to be centered there. Tab position top. Do not clip the tabs. This new done episode. I'll be back in like 30 minutes. Alrighty. So this was the old list with our buttons. We don't want that one anymore. Let's say expand, then give this like a stretch ratio of 0.5 or something, or just do 1. That'll be good. And then how do I keep it the same over here? I guess I just have another separator above that one. Yeah, this is another VBox container here that has another separator. I mean, would work technically. I guess I'll probably have to do that unless I just take this separator right there and go into the styles, make unique, and then the expand margins. We could just expand it all the way to the left. You know, like that. But then it kind of overlaps with the buttons, which is the problem. So I don't quite like how that looks. I don't know. UI can be a little tricky at times. I wonder if like the better way to do this kind of UI stuff is instead of having these lines in between, we actually just make that a panel, you know? Because what we could do is just do a transparent panel that has a border, and then we just have all the pieces. It's probably better. So I would have a million separators. But I don't know. Because now that I know about that panel container node, it's kind of nice. Because then I wouldn't have to do weird garbage here. I just have like... That's a V, that's a margin. Do we really need a margin on that? I don't think we do. I think we can just get rid of the margin. Then set this to expand. Yeah, I don't see why we would actually need that margin. 22k areas, yeah, ignore that. And then we can do a panel container. Like this. I don't think I actually use panels in Starground yet. Like, I just don't have theme stuff set up for them. So I would like to do that. Then I can get rid of the various things that I have here. Because this is what it looks like right now, the panel. Which is pretty ugly. Let's take a look at the panel, see what we can do. Let's go to theme. Panel. What is this panel that I did? I guess that's the default panel. It kind of looks like the default Starground background, but it's a little different. I think I was trying to emulate this vibe here, but it's not the same. So I think what we could do is just make the background center transparent, and then just have our borders here. And then we wouldn't do any corner radius. So this is just a sharp square like that. It's probably the play. We could give it some content margins. Like that. And this could even be semi-transparent if we want. I don't know. Let's see what this looks like, though. So the thing is that the panel container, for some reason, is a separate style box than the regular panel. So we have to copy that one, then go to the panel container and paste it on that one. Okay. So content margins does work. Interesting. Now we also have like expand margins. We can settle those to 10. Or maybe less. Whatever would look correct. Just want to do an experiment here. So if we go into theme overrides and do 0 separation, and then we put another panel container right beneath it. So we have to keep tweaking that margin here until it looks correct. So let's go to like 2. Because I want them to overlap just like that. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. And then I can make that border not quite so prominent. The only thing is it does kind of like the parts where it overlaps, you can see that it's overlapping, which is sort of a problem. So maybe we don't do transparency, but we just do like just a brighter color. That's too bright. This one? But then it will change the UI vibe up a little bit, though. That's the issue. I don't know. It's hard to say exactly what we want to do with this. I mean, I think this definitely looks really good for like just regular UI, but the problem is that we have like this pixel panel background, and I don't know. I don't know if it really makes sense in this case. That's something I think we'll have to keep experimenting with. Well, let's just get a another V separator here. Should we just copy the shop UI and just kind of redo things? Probably. So why is the quest board a... I guess because it's an inventory display. I don't think we need it to be that. Because I think other stuff that we've opened, like the power... no, that's also a center. Well, I don't want to break everything, so we'll just stick with that. Okay, let's just stop goofing around and get it done. We'll just do the same thing we do here. So there's going to have a V-box, and then the separator goes right into there. What's up, Zafencer? How's it going? I think we want to do this one. Panel is empty. Yeah. Yeah, paste that in there. Paste that in there. And then we just need a little separator for over here. It's not too bad. So this V-box, we've got the top separator, but now we need another separator. Hopefully this doesn't cause issues with like, you know, translations and stuff though. Because I wonder if some specific characters are actually taller and would like mess this up. I'm not sure. That's something we'll have to experiment with and see. And this one honestly, let's just say make unique. Say expand margins. We can do a negative expand margin. Oops, that was the wrong margin. The Forbidden Sea, yeah. We'll see. I can't do that. Can I just do, never mind, guys. We can't do negative margins, so... It's okay. We'll just slap a V-box in here. Put that in there. Slap that in there. And we're good as new. Okay. Well, there's our UI. It works, I suppose. Chillin', how are you? So you're working on quests? Yeah. We are messing around with quest stuff right now. I want to get the UI all ready to go and stuff. Oh, it's going to crash. I shouldn't have opened. Yikes. Okay. Let's try this again. Also, I'm tired of everything breaking, so... Let's start exporting more. So it's going to export var... available list. Active list. Type VBox container. So now we just go here, we say available and active. And in here, let's see, it's going to be not just that, because the way it is over here, it's got a VBox separator, then a scroll container, and then the items. VBox separator, then we have a scroll container. And then inside of that, we have another VBox. So that's going to actually be our real list. And we'll name them as such. What is that, get parent chain? I can take a look at what that's all about. This is just getting the player inventory. There's probably a better way to do it, but it doesn't matter because it works and I don't care. That's the truth. If it works, it works. So let's see, this is list. So this is now going to be our available list. Do the same things here. I don't know what this grid container is all about. And that's in details? Okay, I guess that's for... I think that's all the list stuff. We should be able to run this now without it crashing. So let's try this. Yeah, how I would probably do that instead of doing all the get parent chains now is I could either set owner from the player. That's a pretty easy way to do it. Or just get like a global, a singleton reference to the player. Those are all possibilities. Hold on one second here, guys. Okay, we're good. But yeah. Looks like Pomo is going to be playing our game on stream today, so we might have to, I'll pull this up in the background. All right, anyways. Let's see if this works. Game looks really good. Big fan. Thanks for streaming. Yeah, no problem. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the streams. I do appreciate it. Alright, let's see if this displays properly and doesn't crash. It still crashes. Cool. I guess it's because this grid container also went away. So what do we use the grid container for? That's just a list of all the items that we get. So we're just going to call this rewards and then give it a export var. Rewards grid. Make it a grid container type. Alright, so that's set up. I think this is probably going to cause issues. Let's just get rid of this list now, just delete it. And make sure we've got everything here. Just call that one separator. This is our details panel. Okay. Just call this spacer. Line. Name, label, description. H separator. Rewards. Yeah. That should all be good, I think. And then our action button. Which, if that's not already linked up, we probably need to do that. Let me see if I actually even use it. Why would I be setting the modulator on that to 0? That was probably we were messing or gonna do it the other way, but I think it's better to do it this way. So this can now be our what is it? Rewards grid node. Name label. So on these ones, whenever it says details, we just get rid of the VBox now, because it is the VBox. I think a really big part of like getting better at doing UI is knowing how to eliminate more nodes. It's really easy to create UI with like a billion different control nodes, but I think the true skill involved is doing as few as possible. I think as time goes on, I've started to learn just how to simplify my UI structure more. Like using stuff like the panel container and stuff, because what that basically does is it works as a background and a margin node all in one. So you just have that as like the parent, and then everything else is already set up. So it's pretty nice. It's kind of impossible though with Starground to use that node because all the backgrounds are, well, drawings, right? It's like pixelated. I mean, honestly, I don't know if people would really miss that much. It might be worth it to start swapping over the texture background into just using a panel container, because it would be nice just to simplify the UI. But we'll see. All right, there we go. It's looking pretty good. Oh. Check scene is not real. So why did that die? Just because it's not, yeah. It's fine. So did this stop generating our list of quests? Let's figure out why that doesn't work now. So in ready, it's going to say populate, which will do all this stuff. Description label. So for I in available list, get children. If it's a button, delete it. Which now, since we're just doing that, go ahead and do it like that. Anything in available list, destroy. I don't know why it would be not working here. Also, does it really matter how we do that here? Why am I moving this back to 0? I don't need to do that anymore. So we clear out all the nodes. Then we're going to say for I and quests. If player has that quest already, then we don't display it. We create a button, set it. We say available list add child button. But not pressed. Should be fine. I wonder why it would be, there wouldn't be any quests in there, though. It's a little odd. On the available list node. I'm not quite sure. Should be populating this with buttons. Let's check it out again. By the way, can you zoom out the galaxy map so that all the planets are easily clickable right when you access it? You can zoom out. It doesn't save your zoom level, but that's something that I could add into the game really easily. Just so it saves in your user settings the current amount that you have your UI zoomed out by. It'd be pretty easy to do. How/when do you decide to use, details name label over an export var? I usually just do this stuff like with the $sign when I'm just getting the UI set up, but it does kind of suck. Because the problem is, like, let's say I move this name labeled node out. Like, this is basically a file path. But if I now move that node out into here or whatever, this reference to it will break, which is annoying and stupid. So the better way to do it is to say export, and what that means is in here, it's like, it has a reference to it. So no matter where I move it around, like when I'm editing this UI, it'll know where it is, so it doesn't break my code. So I typically recommend doing export. It's just annoying because you have to assign everything manually and whatever, but it is better, so. This would be great quality of life, yeah. I can for sure do that. It would be really easy, I think. I just have to save the current zoom level. I can go ahead and add that to our notes here really quick, so I don't forget. Let me just write that down. / position on the star launcher. Alright. I'm back. Welcome back. Alright, let's see if this generates. It should. Why is it not generating any of the quests? I don't get it. Is it throwing any meaningful errors in here? No. So, something's obviously wrong. Let's print and populate, just make sure it does actually work. Ha ha ha. Oh, well, it's probably not going to populate again, because it's... Oh no, it should. Let's stop printing out all this garbage now in the player. Just for now. Get rid of that. Okay, so it does print it. Oh, it could just be that the buttons are, like, not... Oh, you know what it could be? Let's see if this is what it is. Yeah, this is probably what it is. We have to say vertical scroll mode, auto, horizontal, disabled, and we have to say expand vertical. That's probably why we couldn't see it. And then same with this list, we need to say expand, expand. There we go. Bunny control nodes. I do really like Godot's control node system, though, I'm not gonna lie. It makes setting up UI so nice. I mean, coming from Game Maker, oh my god. Trying to do UI in Game Maker is literally the worst. I mean, you could create your own UI system, and then it wouldn't be as bad, but it's just the fact they don't have that in the first place is crazy. I can't believe it, dude. So this is not called grid container anymore. Let's have the rewards grid. Let's see if that's good now. Cute 13 boring hives. Alright, this is looking good. Something I like to do here is up on our tab container, let's decrease our stretch ratio, like 0.75 or something. You don't need that much horizontal space for these buttons. I might also go ahead and just future-proofing this, because I'm sure once we go to different translations, I need to make those buttons when I spawn them in up here. I need to say button dot auto wrap mode is equal to I think it's auto wrap smart is what we want. So won't make any difference now, but later on it will. All right, well, this is looking good now, and then we're just gonna get it set up so that whenever we have like this one accepted, yeah, it doesn't show up here. Discard button is also not working, so that's something that we need to do. But once it's accepted and in the active section now, we should be able to click on it and be like, hey, discard that quest. So I do need to clear out my list of... Well, I guess it's fine. I can just go ahead and create the ability to clear them now. So let's go into display quest board. So Abra, what's up? Welcome in. How's it going? Okay, that's where we do populate, set active quest. Okay, so we have to say, this is setting active quest. So if we're in discard mode, right? So if global active player active quest has new quest, and then we say if it's complete, then we'll say complete or whatever. So what's up, Ryan? Welcome in. How's it going? What have you been up to? Let's just do this. Let's say var quest is active player to active quest get. I guess that's not how that works. Let's just do this. Yeah. So now we say, let's just have a variable set to this. Var quest is new quest. And I think that's what we have up here. No, we have active quest. Where does new quest get set? New quest. That's in set active quest. But it's not there. So I don't know why it's not throwing me an error for that. That doesn't seem to make any sense. Odd. Okay, well, we'll do that. I guess it doesn't matter. We just use active quest here. Okay. And then if we're going to say if active quest dot completed, otherwise, you know, do the other stuff. You don't want to be on the radio? You killed those little radio snippets? Yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much. You're totally welcome to record something. I'm probably going to do a post-jam version, because there's a lot of recordings like that I think would be really funny to put on. And even if we end up with too many, I can just make it so each day there's like a new set of radio stations. I think it'd just be fun. But yeah, if you want to record something and send it to me, you're more than welcome to, and I can add it in the post-jam version. There's also a couple bugs I need to fix. Like, I forgot to make it so that capital letters work. So a lot of people type in the thing right, but since it's capitalized in a... Yeah. It's a problem. So I need to fix that. I should probably put that on the list of known bugs, probably. Let's go ahead and do that. My game. Also add a no timer version to listen to them. Oh yeah, we could do that. Just like a different game mode. You know, endless, not endless, but easy mode. There's no timer, just a quota. I thought I had a known bugs thing in here. I guess not. Okay, and then this is header 2, I think. Known bugs. Switch does not work for Morse code on web. No idea why. The keypad can only accept lowercase letters. Will be fixed later. Baby mode just for you, yeah. I would like to do that. I think it'd be fun to work on this game a little more, because, like, I feel like I kind of got, like, the bare minimum in. I still feel like there's a lot more, stuff that we can add to it, so. So this is where we do our initial quest generation. So I think what we want to do is... like this, false by default. We need to go to where we actually generate all these quests to start. So multiplayer setup. And right in here. So we have ID, rewards, quest data. We're just gonna add another thing on here that's complete. So now we should be able to just grab from the quest info. And I think I don't put that in anywhere. This just becomes the quest. Yeah. All right. So anyways, now inside of our UI here, it's just a really easy way for us to test if the quest is actually complete. So let's also go into our quest checker script. We're gonna have function complete, and what we're gonna say in here is data.complete is equal to true, and we're also gonna say complete.emit or completed.emit. And then let's go back into the other checker script that we have. Oops. Where's the other one? Or it's a kill enemies check. Here it is. So instead of saying this business right here with completed, we're just going to call complete. So yeah. It's just nice to have a variable that we can access to just double check if a quest is actually completed. So should be good there. So now in here we can just check if our quest is complete, then we're going to do our complete stuff. Otherwise, the text that we have here will just say discard. And like this doesn't make any sense. If active player has the quest, then set it to discard. Well, I guess that makes sense actually. Okay. So let's do another variable here. Var has quest. It's false. And then we say has quest is equal to let's just call it that. So if the quest that we're trying to do is an active quest, then we do that. Otherwise, we're going to say try add quest down here. So that should be fine now. Then in here, I think this is in... So sorry, let me what you said in here. come up with something. Yeah, I was here for bits and pieces of the project, but after seeing the final product, I was like, dang, this kid put in some work. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. You know, there's a couple problems, but it's a jam, it's okay. It's really hard to completely avoid issues with jams. One thing I did ask about is whether or not people are allowed to playtest the game in the ODA category. And Adagon says it's not enforceable, so I am allowed to have people playtest it while I'm working on it. So that's probably something that I'll do next time, is actually have you guys play the game so that we can look out for bugs and stuff. So, but that'll be really nice. I think it'll help avoid issues like I had this time around, so get some QA testing in. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be doing the next one, because I think it's going to be right around the time of Starground's, like, full release, so I might be kind of busy. We'll see. I'm not sure if that's going to be before or after. I'm just going to have to see. It depends on how fast things end up moving, you know? Okay, so if it's complete, it'll just drop all of the reward items and then get rid of it. So we will say... Now, this is something, though, that we have to figure out, because if we remove a quest, here's the thing, from the player's active quests, then we have no way of knowing if the quest in the available list is, has already been accepted or not by the player, and that's kind of a problem. So we'll have to figure that out. Yeah, there's some things like that that we're gonna have to figure out. I feel like I might want to change a little bit how the quests and the data of the quests are actually, like, created and set. Because right now it's like a dictionary and it's fine, but I think I kind of want to turn it into a resource or something like that. So that every time we generate a quest, it's like a static thing that you're referencing. I think is probably how I want to do it. And then all of our generate quest and check quest, instead of having to have two separate scripts for both of these things, it can just be attached to the resource, right? And so that might be a better way to do it. 'Cause, yeah, the way it is now is a little funky. Might do it like that. Yeah, too early, my boy. I got you for another 5 hours at least. Oh, man. I got up really early today. I got up at like 5 a.m. So I'm already kind of tired. I didn't mean to get up that early. It was kind of an accident. I'm not standing. Let's go ahead and do that. I did move a cable around, though. It's short. Hopefully it doesn't unplug my interface right now. Make sure my interface doesn't come unplugged. I think it might be okay. Push it aside. I don't know. It's gonna come unplugged. Okay, we're good. Ugh. I'm standing up, guys. Okay. Man, trying to design the system for quests has been complicated, but it is important. I want it to be convenient for people to use and mod and stuff, right? I don't want it to be annoying. And also I want it to be convenient for me to use. So, I'm just trying to think the best way to do it. I could do it like how the new conveyor belts work. Which is this. It is a object. So it doesn't have any process event. That's the problem, though. We're gonna need a process event. Unless we just want everything with quests to be completely signal based. Which I wouldn't be completely opposed to. Just not allow people to use the process event on quests. It would kind of like be better that way. So I might do that instead. I kind of do want to implement a global signaler. Something that I think would be very nice. I know we have some signals in the global auto or singleton, but maybe we could look into something like that and just call it signaler. It's something that we used in Ouroboros, at least Adagon's implementation of it, but I'd like to make my own variant. I think it'd be nice. Thank you for snoozing the ad. Let's maybe take a look at this signaler. And what it would allow is like a really good cross communication between different mods and stuff like that, because one mod can emit a signal and then you can just link up to it and check for it. So if the signal exists or that mod is there, then it just works, and if it isn't there, well then it doesn't matter. Yeah, basically a signal bus. We could call it signal bus, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we could call it that. Just make it a node. Because sometimes I get tired of having all these weird little signals in here for things. What do you think is the best way to learn Godot? I don't know it that well. Maybe you should have thought of that before trying to mod Starground. Oh no, it's all good, yeah. The best way I'd probably say is definitely I would read the documentation. I think the documentation for Godot is really good. Because the big thing with it is that it's not just like a reference sheet, right? It also has a lot of like tutorials. So if you go to Godot documentation, and then the introduction section, it just has a lot of really good info in here. You know, just like basic stuff like before you start, just general info of what Godot is and how to do anything. It goes over like all the tools and stuff you can use in here too, which is nice. But then the big thing here is I think this getting started section, like it's a step-by-step guide on how to create a game, right? So it's really useful. I wish I read through this when I first started learning Godot, because I think it would have really helped me just learn things better. But this is a good like introduction stuff, like what languages can you use and blah 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 and all this stuff. Because it even mentions here like watch the CS50 Harvard course just for a general overview of programming. So, you know, I recommend taking a look at this. And then it just goes into more specific things like learning to code. There's a step-by-step is the one I was talking about, like, you know, creating your first script. It just tells you everything that you have to do. So create a node, choose your type, set a texture if you want. This is for Sprite 2D. And then it shows you how to attach a script, what all these different things mean, the template or whatever, what extends means. You know, it's just a really good step-by-step, just describing every little thing that you might have a question about. So definitely recommend taking a look at all this stuff. It's a really good resource. And you can also watch YouTube videos and stuff. There's like, you know, some Brackeys Godot videos, which I think are pretty good. Ooh, Godot. So you could take a look at these two. He's got like this really long one, how to make a video game. Just keep in mind that the only problem with following a tutorial and making a carbon copy of what they're working on is you fall into the tutorial hell state where you feel like you can't really implement anything without following a tutorial. So I think it's really important to try and get your mind out of that spot when you're initially learning. Because once you can start doing things by yourself without having to relying on somebody to tell you how, then you start to really improve at programming, you know. You cannot learn how to structure the game from any source, and you just need to have to try and learn. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, is like structure, like the design of your game is not something that can easily be taught, because it just depends on so many different things, right? Like what kind of game are you making, and what, because every single game is different. So I think that's the actual like hard part of programming is just figuring out how to structure everything. And that's kind of the thing that I'm running into right now. How do I structure this stupid quest system? Because right now it's becoming too complicated for my likings. I want to like just have some nice standard class that handles all the quest stuff, and you just say create a new quest and then it's just good, you know. I'm worried that it's starting to get a little too complicated right now. So I think I'm probably gonna convert all this into one thing. I think it'll be better that way. Not a really cool tutorial. Oh no, sponsored. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of really good ones. Yeah, this is like 2 people going through it, which I think is interesting. Because you get like 2 different perspectives on stuff. White boxing, root node. Yeah, this is good. And like the thing that I always say take away from tutorials is like, don't just watch a tutorial on how to make the game you want to make, because there's never going to be a tutorial for every single game. And the thing is, if you're just following a tutorial to make your game, well then your game is just going to be a copy of their game. So I say take away certain parts from tutorials. If you want to know how to like make your player move and stuff, then just look at a tutorial just for that part. Right? But yeah, hopefully that helps though. And if you've ever got questions, I am always here to answer them during stream or just on Discord. You're welcome to @ me and ask about stuff, because I'm happy to. So we got an ad starting. I do apologize, guys. Like 3D is not the best way to start. Yeah, I'd probably start with 2D. I think 3D definitely is complicated starting out, because there's a lot more that you have to take into account. You're gonna have to deal with like physics and stuff, importing geometry and all that business. I think it's a lot easier to make a 2D game, so I'd probably recommend sticking with that for now. And there's the ads. But yeah. So let's see if we can do this. We're gonna go into resources. Quests. We're gonna create a new script. This is gonna be a quest. That's all it's going to be here. And we can say class name quest. Oops. Extends node. So this is going to have all the stuff for the quest. We're going to take a lot of our stuff here from the quest checker and move it into here. So we'll have stuff like completed, failed, the player, all the data of the quest. So that should be all good. Initiate is going to say player is the set player and data is our data. We have complete. And then we're going to have another function in here that is function connect signals. So that should probably be good. All right. So now we can kind of eliminate a lot of this stuff. We will still have initiate here, but now we're just going to call this quest kill enemies. And all we're going to say is I think this will work. Yeah. Initiate. We can have some other functions in here. I mean, we have initiate. We can do connect signals after. We can say set up data or like configure. So back into quest kill enemies. We're also going to set up all this stuff. So we're going to move this in here. Right. So this is no longer going to be ready. This is going to be on connect signals, and this is going to extend quest. Okay, ads are over, everybody. Sorry about that. It's already going to have data defined in here. Yeah. And then update is fine. We have that connected to update. In progress. That can be something manually defined, probably. Unless we want that to just be a thing. Wonder how we're gonna handle like the displaying of this stuff. That's something that we'll figure out, but... So now we can get rid of all this garbage, like quest, check, kill enemies. Remove that. Same with this one. Now all we have is just quest, kill enemies. It's so much more simple, right? Get rid of our quest checker too. Just make sure that we have all this set up already. Yeah. Cool. Now, we did have that one quest, gather items. Where did that go? Oh, I guess we have a table for quests. I did not realize. That's fine. So we're just gonna have a object, and this is gonna be load whatever. And now this stuff here too can just have quests, quest kill enemies. And this will be quest gather items. Also, once you learn the basics, look at the terms inheritance and composition. Yeah. Yeah, I'd recommend definitely taking a look at that. Quest gather items. Okay, so we're going to create another one. So we got quest gather items in here now. And should be in a pretty good spot now. So this function here is no longer going to be initiate. This is going to be function configure. So let's see, data.id. I think what I'm going to do instead here is say enemy ID is that. And data is going to be... Figure out how I want this to work. Because we have, like, this is static data here. Apparently this class is now not findable. Let's restart the game here. So that's gather items, this is kill enemies. I see. On gather items, let's just like delete a lot of this right now. Not worried about any of that for just a moment. We'll figure out what we want that to, how that's all gonna work. Okay, I do think this is gonna work better as an object like this. It just decreases the number of scripts and stuff we have to have, right? So update, that's just gonna check what kind of entity was killed. Then we're gonna get progress. Should all be good. Okay. So we're gonna have to change quite a few things, unfortunately. We have to go back into here and generate available quests. This also doesn't make any sense setting ID. I don't know why we would do that. Yeah, it's just a little odd. So I think we'll just say, instead of doing all that stuff and generating this quest info thing, we'll just say quest ID is that. Like this. So that's going to give us a quest. And now we're just going to say, you know, creating a new quest object. So object.new or .instantiate. Let's just call this one quest, because that's like the final thing for what it is. All right, so the order of what's going to happen here is in quest, it's going to run initiate. It's going to say player, get that stuff. Set data. So does instantiate take in like stuff? I guess so. Okay, so we will include this stuff. I think that what we're gonna do is on quest now. We're gonna have var ID. It's better to have that in its own variable. So we're going to pass in self. Let's pass in quest ID, self, and then data. So back into our quest object. So ID player. Okay. Should be good there. Oh, excuse me. So now we can simplify a lot of this stuff. We don't have to pass in ID anymore. We don't really need to pass in quest data because it's just confusing. So just get rid of that for now. And we don't really want that stuff either. Doesn't make any sense. So we don't need to pass in any data at all. Now up here we're going to say var completed. This is type of bool. False by default. Okay. Here, let's just call this is complete. And data can just be an empty dictionary. I think this will be better. So we don't pass in data anymore, just the ID and self. Okay. Now, this stuff, this is generating our list of rewards. I guess we can do that. get rid of that generate script stuff. We will now say available quests. Push back quest. And available quests, that's no longer going to be an array of dictionaries. It's going to be an array of quests. Okay. So this is generating our list of awards, rewards. I think it'd be better probably to, I don't know, maybe generate that inside of the quest object instead. I think it would be better there. Because we already know what the loot ID and all that business is going to be. Just based off of what our ID is, right? So get rid of all that. Save this again. Now, inside of the player, not the player, the quest object, we're gonna have another function here that's like function generate rewards. So this is gonna be a dictionary. Initiate, we're going to say quest table get ID. So now we can use quest reference for getting all that stuff. If loot amount. Okay, so if we specify how much. Otherwise, we just say for reward in our loot table. So we're just going to, another variable var rewards is an array. So we'll just say rewards.pushback. Yeah, that. And then there we say that. Okay, I think this is just much cleaner. Now all of our quest stuff is just in one object. There's no, and then what this is good for is when a player has accepted a quest, the reference to that quest is the same one as the quest in our available quest list, right? Which is good. Because it means like if you've accepted a quest that's already in the list and complete it, that now means it's gonna just be that same object. It's gonna update and say, hey, it's completed, so don't show it in the list anymore. And since the questing is gonna be handled per client, I don't think I'm gonna manage on the server. I'll have to figure that out, but... That's the only thing that might be kind of, complicated, is getting this working with multiplayer. I guess the way I'll probably do that is to do it with, yeah, to do it purely client-side. Technically, it allows for a tiny little bit of cheating, but I don't think it'll matter. Okay. Because the problem with multiplayer and using an object like this or resource is you can't sync that data. I mean, we could have like a function for syncing over the data, but it does get a little complicated. Because it's like, how many variables do we sync over? Oh, man, modding and multiplayer is such a tricky combo, you know? It's not a big deal if people make their own modding APIs, but trying to, like, do it yourself, it's really hard. But I think this will work out. So now in here, there's no more quest checker, right? So when we say add quest, we're not going to be doing all this business. Completed quest is fine. really need to keep track of that, though. I don't know if we really need completed quests right now. So I think I might hide that for just a moment. Anyway, so now we say add quest, active quest, that pushback. Quest. No, we don't need that anymore. And now active quest is going to be an array of quest. And later on, if we want to do add quest as like a through multiplayer and sync all the things over so that the server quests are the same and for everybody, we can figure that out. We can do an RPC that just kind of sends over the data individually. So, should be okay, I think. All right. So I hope this all works. Let's make sure I don't reference the old questing stuff anywhere. So I'm going to search in here, search for quest checker. Yeah, this should not be... Okay, it's commented out. I think we should be okay. The only other thing that's going to be messed up now is the quest board. It's going to be trying to access things that are not there anymore. So we have to fix that. And populate, we're going to say, yeah, delete all those. If active quests.has it, continue, don't show it in available quests. So we say button. So we're going to say if that, or quest dot is complete, then we don't show it, right? So we set meta to quest, we set the text to, we can just say quest.quest reference.name, available list, add child, button owner, button pressed, set active quest to quest. So this one's no longer going to be that. New quest is going to be type of quest. And we just check that. If that's not valid, then just return. So active quest will be the new one. We don't need that anymore. I'm going to say clear everything in the rewards. It's just clearing out everything. Yeah. Okay, so now, I guess if we say if new quest, so we don't need to do that. So that's going to be new quest.quest reference.description. Same with the name. Then description label. Yeah, we're just going to say quest info. Quest reference. Now this is the objective, so that's going to be like what you have to do. Just say new quest dot objective. Will probably be the easiest way to do it. That's just generating our list of rewards. New quest dot rewards. Now, we don't really need to do this one in here. I mean, I guess it's fine. We can just say if it's... So if the player has it, it becomes discard. And if new quest dot completed, Then the text will be redeem or something. Not redeem. Collect. We'll figure that one out. So down here, this is like the, whenever we press it. We also need to change whatever our active quest is. This will be now quest. So we can't call it get on it. So if it's complete, then we say player active quest dot erase active quest. And we also drop items here. Otherwise, if it's not complete, that means we're discarding. So we just say remove, and that's it. And also when we do that, we're going to say at the same time, active quest dot is complete, or just run complete. That way it doesn't show up again in the list after we've accepted it. Then triad quest, this is going to happen only on the server. So this is the part that's going to be tricky, is getting this all to work with multiplayer. Might be a little difficult. We'll figure it out. So anyways, I think we're almost ready to go. The only other thing is this objective stuff. When we generate the objective. We should have a variable in here, var objective as a string. And then when we actually create that objective down in here, quest kill enemies. Right here, instead of saying data.objective, we're just going to say objective is that. I don't even know if there's much we have to put in data. I mean, I guess we can just have data.id in there. We can do this. So that'll get the entity type. And then data.enemyID is that. If it's a boss, then the amount is 1, otherwise 5 to 15. We say objective is that. And yeah, data.amount is fine. Okay. But now this stuff doesn't make any sense. Why would we say data.questData? So instead, that's just going to be data progress. So data is basically going to be the thing that stores like things that change or things that are unique across quests. So stuff like this, where it has like an enemy ID, that's not something that we would store as a variable. Data is for like things that change between quests, I guess. We'll keep on refining this as we add new quests. I just want to get this, you know, somewhat structured well enough, and then we can fine-tune things. So I hope we're all good to go. What that also means is if I could do that with the objective stuff, or with the data stuff, I could just sync that on multiplayer, since it's just like strings and ints in a dictionary. That works fine, since it's not an object. So that's probably how I could sync this all on multiplayer. Yeah, that might be what I do. Okay, should we go ahead and load this up? Let's try it out. We might have to clear out the current list of quests, because I think when the player tries and load that in, it might break everything. So we'll see. I might have to, just for now, in the ready event of the player, just say quests is set back to nothing. Let's try it. Yeah, it's not happy. Actually, that's not what I thought would happen here. So quest data is quest table.get. I wish I didn't close out that error. You might not be able to do instantiate on object if it's already loaded. I thought you could, though. Let's load it up again and see. To use a dialogue auto-load? No. The way I do dialogue is just with, like, IDs and stuff. I don't really have, like, a big table for all the dialogue yet, since most dialogue isn't linked to other dialogue. But I think what I'm going to do for that, when I do get around to more advanced dialogue systems, is have every single piece of dialogue associated with an ID. That way, there's no ordering. I can just move dialogue around wherever I want, or even reuse it for different entities. And we could have a couple different things that controls how dialogue links up to each other. So we could have like a key inside of our dialogue data that says next dialogue, right? So that we know like the next chunk of dialogue we're supposed to be displaying to people, stuff like that. I think something like that would work pretty nicely. So, oh, I see why this isn't letting me do instantiate. It's because what this is it's a script. I don't know if there's any way I can change that. I mean, I can say .new, and I think it would just instantiate. I don't know if that would become a node or not. We'll have to see. Because I need it at the end of the day to become a node here. Let's see what this does. But yeah, dialogue is a whole nother thing too. Yeah, some certain developers do really stupid dialogue where you have a big array and all of the dialogue is just an entry in the array. That's a really bad way to do dialogue. So, would not recommend that. Oh, I see. Since this doesn't have a player set or whatever. You don't necessarily immediately have to have a player set. I mean, why do we have a player variable in here? Is there a reason? I guess that might just be if I run everything on server side, then I'll have to. I mean, do I use player in here at all? That's the question. Because I'm not seeing it in there. What about in kill enemies? I do use it there. But I can probably add another function so that we wait for that connecting of signals and stuff, right? Like function assign player. And then we say player is equal to set player and not worry about doing that initially up here. I think that'll be a better way to do it. And then whenever the player actually accepts the quest and adds it, that's when we do it, right? And that's where it also starts the connect signals thing and stuff. So that basically like does the beginning of the quest or whatever. I agree, dialogues are a whole other thing. I have a basic like Boolean system right now, but even though I know it's a mess, yeah. I mean, the thing is like you just... This is something that I've definitely experienced with Starground, is like, it's okay if the first designs that you come up with for things is bad. Because most of the time they will be, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like a lot of the way I used to like track data and everything in Starground was really bad. But over time, I think you start to learn more about like programming design and better ways to do it, even for your own projects. So it's sometimes you kind of have to go through and realize or mess up on purpose, because then you realize why doing it a certain way is bad. And it really teaches you a lot about how to do better next time. And it's not too late for stuff like that too. Like, I've refactored a lot of things in Starground. Refactoring a lot of the times is just how it goes. So, you know, as long as it's working right now and it's enabling you to continue developing the game, that's kind of the most important thing. Later on, if it ever stops letting you develop the game, then that's the time when you can you know, think about refactoring a little bit. So looks like Pomo might be on to our game soon. We'll have to see here. Okay, so now we don't have to, all we have to do on initiate is just pass in an ID, which makes sense. That way it kind of knows like what object it is. So back into here, when we do our initial creation of our quests, we will not say self anymore. It just pushes back a big list. And then we're gonna go ahead and in our UI here, when we actually do the process of accepting a quest right in here, try add quest. Yeah, we say player.add quest. That's where we can do all of our stuff. So we say active quest push back. Now we say quest dot assign player self. And that should work now. So let's give that a try. We'll see. Yeah, this questing system has been a pain. I didn't think it was going to be this complicated and annoying, but it is. All right, continue, and it's going to die because, yeah. So I am going to have to clear out our previously existing quests. Just really quickly, temporarily, I'm just going to go into our save component. I think it's in load dictionary. It loops through all of our variables down here, yeah. So we're going to say if string is equal to active quests, then continue. And then we'll get rid of that line once our save isn't corrupted anymore. Alrighty. So hopefully this does not crash anymore. Okay, it's still dying. I wonder why. Invalid access to ID. Oh. That is now enemy ID. Whoops. Well, that's probably why it was crashing. And it had nothing to do with my code. Well, it was the code. Not the player corruption data, whatever. Crush the soda can. Get it out. Crush the soda can. Okay. Let's see if this works. Come on, come on, come on. Don't crash, don't crash. Come on! Okay, we're gaming. Do I not have UI sounds on? Did our UI sounds break? What's going on there? Music is fine. I don't hear anything. Do you guys? Well, that sucks. I have to figure out what happened with that. Anyways. Okay, it died. It's fine. That's because we said objective.get. We just had to say objective. Fix that bug. Load errors. Okay, let's restart the game. Yeah, why is the UI sound not working now? That's very unfortunate. Did I accidentally mute the audio bus or something weird? Let's see why that would be the case. I don't know. It's a little bit worrying. Really quick, I'm just gonna go double check that it didn't disconnect that signal for some reason. None of that stuff. It's really on a... Oh. Why did I get rid of that? I was probably doing some performance testing and commented that line out. Okay. We're good. Yeah, it's normal now. I don't know what happened with that. I must have just commented it out at some point. Alright, to the space hub. Okay. We're working on it. That's because we did a capitalized rewards. It's getting there. It looks like Pomo's playing our game. We must watch. This song is so long, yeah. Do I have Twitch muted, or does he just not have music on?
Let's see, I'm gonna feel real dumb playing this, I think. It's a puzzle game.
We'll keep testing on the side, but...
Playing the gym entrance cost me $10 total. Are you donating? Oh, hi, big boy. Hey, you're here. The big boy is so... Oh, no.
Yo, think for the speed.
Chat, I think I fucked up.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're streaming. Nice.
Type Devin chat.
I can play it some other time. If you whenever you end the stream, I can wait for you to end. Sorry, man. I could play something else and I can wait for you to end that if you want. I'm fine with that. If you're not streaming for a lot longer.
Okay.
So you have 2 hours to go. Yeah. Okay, let's roll that. But this is gonna kick my ass down.
All right. Let's go see if these quests work.
Go. We're wasting the time of 2 streams here. We gotta.
Yeah, I know you guys are hearing him right now.
The pressure is on for me to get the puzzle.
Yeah, my five. I know.
No, maybe another hour or so. Ah, it's a little loud.
There we go.
It's fine.
I'll just say,
It's fine. We're speed running.
that's an important thing. Mute the overlay music. I can do that.
Shit. Alright, I have to. I'm sorry. Spice signal translated lines are aiming to repeat back on this. That the next signals we used to die.
Alright, I'm gonna keep testing this. I'm just waiting for him to actually get into the game.
Look all over to your right when you're ready. Okay,
didn't
I have
crash.
to switch my headphones. Give me 1 second, because like the other.
Oh, turn the master volume down in the game. Yeah.
There's no fucking way.
Hopefully it's not too quiet for him to hear the radio and stuff. We'll see. It'll be fine. Does it still show my stream on the Down at Jam website because I accidentally included the tag? Or am I good?
Okay.
Okay, we're good.
Sometimes enemy forces will walk past you. If you hear footsteps, knocking, or any other noises, immediately turn off your radio and stay quiet till they pass. That's all for now. Godspeed.
Alright. And he's off.
You want a car? We have that car.
No, he's gonna immediately hit with the thing. He doesn't realize that he's supposed to.
Alright.
Ultra unlucky. Alright, guy hit his peak. Thank you. I just traced over myself.
Attacks must be in lowercase. Okay.
Let me show you the image I took for it. I took this image and then just sort of traced over it and made it different. I just like painted over it. Yeah.
Is it just... It's just H.
No, 5. It's 5.
No, wait. It's just 5?
No, it's not 5. It's not the number 5. It's 0. No.
So I need to find more?
Well, you'll realize once you hear some dots. We'll just watch for a little bit. I'll probably look back at the VOD. I presume there's a VOD.
I have to figure out what this thing does.
Swap to FM.
No, that was 5. I think that's 5 again.
No. I'll just say. How much the FMAM was more important. It is broken on web if you play it on web. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I would like to involve in a little, because I think one issue is you can still kind of tell what it's playing when it's on. There we go, epic.
Fuck. I have no idea, bro. That's so hard.
If you have bills weighing you down,
All right. I don't want to.
Maybe that was just not a signal.
We'll just mute that. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Just wanted to pop in there for a minute. But yeah, it's I don't know why it's broken on web. It's just I think it's some weird audio bus thing. For some reason it doesn't apply the effects on web, I think, when you swap the radios. It's kind of odd. I don't know. But yeah. Okay, so that didn't work. That's because we're trying to do this garbage, which doesn't work anymore. Now this one, I think we can say quest.data.progress and quest.data.amount. So let's save that, load it up again, see if it crashes. We just need to keep trial and erroring until we get the quest stuff set up so it doesn't crash anymore. Did it, he hit the quota, let's go. Okay. I really hope this works, guys. Oh. Where am I going? I'm gonna go up here. Okay. Didn't crash. The quest was accepted. It shows it up on the right. Okay, that's a good sign, that's a good sign. So the rewards for some reason isn't being displayed. It's either because the rewards aren't being generated. That actually could be what's going on here. So let's go back into the quest. I think I just forgot to run generate awards. Rewards. Back in here. Yeah, I have to do on configure. Or just after configure, say generate rewards. I believe that is the problem. Let's go ahead and test that out. Hey, Clay, welcome in. How's it going? What are you up to? We're back. It has been an hour, so back to sitting position. Okay. Bunch, been quite a while, yeah. I've been just working away at Starground, working on more major content updates and stuff. Right now I'm just working on getting the questing system implemented, obviously. But we've also got a new dungeon I've been working on, this one here, Caligo, so we might also work on that a little bit today if I can get this questing stuff kind of set up a little more. Okay, so this is all gather items. I should be able to theoretically accept this quest just fine. Okay, so the problem is that this quest does not have progress variables. So this is what we need to figure out, I think, is the next thing to design with the quest system, is like, how do we manage objectives and progress amounts with a quest? I think what we could do is have multiple per quest, because for something like this, it's like you need to gather these items. So it might sometimes be multiple items, which is the thing. So I think what we probably want to do in that case is, yeah, have like an array of our different objectives and their amounts that they have to hit. I think that's going to be the best way to do it, probably. Good. I see it getting more planets too. Yeah. No, I'm glad that I've worked on that stuff. It's fun to have more planets and stuff to explore. But yeah. Ugh. I do want to like do a kind of rework of the combat. Not a complete rework, but just spice it up a little bit more. I kind of want to mess with like the combo system in the game. Because right now how the combo works is basically you just hold down left click, and I think some people are kind of confused and didn't even know that it's a combo. So I want to make it, I don't know, I have to think about how to make it more involved. I don't want to make it annoying, right? But it's tricky. They can hold down left click instead of mashing it. Yeah. It's kind of, I don't know. Yeah. I just need to think about, like, I could do like a little quick time thing, but I don't want it to be like way too hard. I just think there should be a little bit more thinking involved in the combo stuff. I'm just trying to think how I would do that though. One thing I would love to do is like change the attack pattern, because right now it says back and forth, but I think like forward slash backslash and then like a stab or like a different, or it just depending on the weapon, like, because that's another thing I want to add is different weapon types or like different attack types kind of. So if you have like a slashing blade on your weapon, it does like a whoosh with the big slash, and then you also have like a stabby kind of weapon, so it does like stabs. So they just have different pros and cons. Like the slashing weapon would be nice for just like a big kind of almost AoE attack of like a big, you know, slash around your body. But then the stabby one gives you way more like range, you know, so it's good for like reaching out to attack people, stuff like that. I think that would be nice too. Visual indicators are always good. See where you need to click. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just need to think about like, it's hard. Because I don't want it to be too annoying. I don't want it to be like every single time you attack, you're locked into this little mini game. Because at the same time, you know, people have to like dodge out of the way and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I mean, a lot of games have like alternate attacks, right? So you have like your light attack and a heavy attack and stuff like that. And that's kind of a way to make combat a lot more interesting. So that's how combos could be interesting as well, like a fighting game where you have like different kinds of attacks, and depending on which one you're activating, that's like what combo you end up doing. I don't know. Yeah, just more than just left click, right? Yeah, I was also thinking about that Dead by Daylight skill check. Yeah. Maybe some routings, like if you're in the middle of an attack, you can't move, change directions. I do have that set up a little bit right now, actually, where if like you swing for an attack, you can't move for a little bit, or at least it slows you down a lot. It doesn't fully stop you, but yeah. Which is helpful. I think it's good, because then like you can't just run through enemies and slash and, you know, you have to, it gives enemies an opportunity to actually attack you. So Dark Souls has a thing where if you attack after roll, it's a special attack type. Yeah. I think just stuff like that. I think it's not necessarily that we need a mini game. I think it just needs more variety, more like weird little things like that. Like, oh, if you do it after a roll, it gives you a little boost. And depending on your weapon type, it changes how your weapon, you know, just stuff like that. I think it's probably the play. But I don't know. It's always hard to say. I don't know. Because, I mean, minigame is cool and all, but it's like way too, I think it pulls you out of the combat way too much, right? I still want it to be something relatively simple for your brain to process and do. Like, I still think attacking will just be left click. But, I think what becomes more interesting is like the other stuff around the attack, right? Like integrating it more into rolling mechanics and different weapon slash types and stuff like that. It just needs more spice, I think, is the main thing. So It's also something I would like to work on soon. I don't know. We'll have to see when. Hopefully I can do at least a little bit of that stuff before, you know, we do this update. Hot swapping to gun and back could be interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I have to think about how to make all that work. Yeah. It's kind of so frustrating. This isn't the weapon wheel. It's gonna be weird though if you just have another empty slot on your hotbar. I mean, maybe the solution to that is just to add in a keybind that lets you hot swap, right? So you just hit H on your keyboard or whatever, and it instantly swaps your melee over to your ranged and vice versa. That might be the solution. Instead of having to make the hotbar super huge. Because I know it's easy to say just add another slot for the gun, but the problem is it really can complicate UI. Because now my safe area for larger UI scales is smaller, and it really complicates things. It gets frustrating to design. Yeah, I don't think I would want to add another slot in the hotbar. I think it would get too wide. Because if you like look in game right now it's fine, but you have to keep in mind that this is on a normal UI scale. Because like as soon as you go up to a larger UI scale, because another thing too is you have to take into account that there are the little trigger icons for controller also that have to take up space on the hotbar slot. So there's a lot of things that like are adding horizontal size to that already. I think another slot would be bad. The only way that would work is if I deleted one of the like consumable slots, but that feels kind of unfair. Like, why would I limit people that way? Because like as soon as we go up to a larger UI scale, you'll see it starts to get like on top of the chat and stuff. I do have it set up so the chat will shrink, but if we add another slot on here, I think the chat would be a little too squashed, which I don't really want. I don't know. It's tricky. Make them a 2x2 grid. The only issue with that one is it's going to take up a lot of, like, it's going to block your view, kind of, I feel like. Because I have to think about this in terms of both normal UI scale, but also big UI scale. Because this isn't only, like, a preference thing. This, when you play on Switch, it is larger UI scale, so I do have to make the game work for that, you know. I don't know why the hotbar slots need to be that big on high UI scale. Well, then what's the point of big UI if it doesn't make the UI bigger? I don't know. It's just a complicated problem. It's not as simple as it seems. I don't know. Also, the way that UI scale stuff works is it's not something that I can easily change. I can't just be like, this one doesn't get bigger with the UI. Because when you increase the UI scale, it makes all of the UI equally larger. That's just how UI scale works. So I can't, like, I mean, technically I could add in a bunch of code, but it's opens us up for weird UI problems. Oh, did I say Switch? I meant Steam Deck. It's the same device, practically. But yeah. I don't know. I just have to keep thinking about how I'm going to handle that. I honestly don't think it's going to work having a whole nother slot. I'm probably just going to add in a key so you can hot swap between them. Because it just makes sense. Just like tap H, you know, it swaps over to your gun, tap H again, swaps back to your melee. And that would be absolutely fine, I think. I mean, the wheel doesn't really, at least for me, pose much of a problem. Like, usually it's... I can swap almost instantly. But, I don't know. It's, I'll have to keep thinking about the best way to do it. Because just adding more slots is not sustainable. Because what if we want to add in a third weapon type, and then it just becomes more and more complicated. I don't know how I'm going to fit all the slots in and make the UI all work. I know it's easy just to say, oh, add another UI slot, but it's not that easy. So yeah. So thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. Problem with wheels, your mouse cursor gets positioned with it, so you have to reposition it again. You mean like if you... Yeah, I get that, because you have to do like... I could change that so that the minute you press the button, that's the starting position. You know what I mean? Because right now how it is, it's like, when you hit control, wherever your mouse is, that's where the thing's going to be selecting. But I could set it so it's like, temporarily holds your mouse in the center of the wheel, but then the minute you get out of the UI, your mouse position goes right back to where it was, you know? Something like that might work. Or at least help. Yeah, I don't know. Is that a 5-ingot gun? Yeah, a copper gun. Doesn't do anything, but yeah. I don't know. If anybody has ideas on, you know, how to deal with that, it's... I don't know. It's hard to say. I have to keep thinking about how that would work. The slots need to be big enough so you can tell what's in them. I mean, this is standard UI size right now. I just worry that if we go any smaller with the slot size, it's going to start to be really difficult to read. Also, one thing that's nice right now that I would ideally like to retain is that inventory slot size are the exact same size as the hotbar slot size. And what that means is that it's just looks better. And also, I don't have to set up a bunch of wacky stuff to like convert the resolution of different icons and stuff over. Because with the slots, the way I do it is actually with a sprite. It's not like a texture rect. It's just complicated. It's a little quirk of Godot, but... but yeah. Yeah, we could do that if it's just if you tap Q, it just does an instant swap instead of opening up the wheel. That could work too. I kind of like that idea actually. That could be kind of nice. I'll write that down. Yeah, I think that could be a nice solution to that. Instead of having to have another dedicated keybind to swap, it could just tap the wheel and it changes your tool. Because that's what you're doing anyways. I'll just have like a little bit of a timer, so if you hold for like more than 0.5 seconds or whatever, it opens up the wheel. But if you're just tapping it like this, it just swaps back and forth. I think that would be nice. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't want to add more slots. It starts to get really dense. That's the whole reason I did the tool wheels in the first place. Because imagine if I added another slot for every single tool. It just doesn't, it's not, you know, feasible. The UI is going to get a little clogged. Anyways, I think we're gaming with the quest stuff. Let's go see if this all works. So it should be generating the rewards now. Yeah. Which is epic. And then when I accept a quest, it shows over there just fine. It'll still crash with this one because we need to work out our objective and progress stuff. But we can do that. Works for tools. Well, yeah, I think it would be fine if we just make the tap Q to swap between the two. Well, I don't know. There's not really an easy solution to make it so we can scroll. So I'd have to do some weird stuff to make that work. It would either require me completely redoing all the UI to make it fit, which sucks, or we make it so that like as you're scrolling, but it would be kind of unintuitive. Like if you're in your hotbar, well, the game's frozen. Okay, I can't. But you know when you scroll through, it would like scroll to this, and then when you scroll again, it still stays on the same slot, but it scrolls to your gun. I don't know, maybe, but it would be a little weird. Because then it like, I don't know, something that's nice is like if I see this here, I know I scroll 2 clicks over. But now if there's this that scrolls through to your gun first, then that's kind of odd. Because it's not 2 clicks over, it's now 3 clicks over. So I don't know. It's tricky. I'll keep thinking about solutions to that. Alright, so the quest stuff, let's figure out how we're going to handle our progress and objectives and stuff. So I think we'll just say var. How do you want to handle this? Just thinking here. We could do... So right now how it is in the game, you have your quest info on the side. Right now it just shows the quest objective. But maybe we should change it so it shows the quest name and then beneath that all of the different objectives. So if you have a quest where you have to do multiple things, it shows like... Oh. Not parse the... Oh. Whoopsies. I think that would probably work. So it just shows like a kind of a bullet list of all the different objectives for that given quest. I think that's going to be the best way to display it. And then we can just set up like a standardized kind of format for an objective. So we can have like the text for the objective, which is like gather whatever, gather X item, and then have the target that we have to hit quantity wise and the current amount. That's probably going to be the easiest way to do it. So instead of this being objective, we would probably change this to var objectives, which is going to just be an empty array. It's going to be an array of dictionaries, actually. So down here where I'm generating objective, where do I actually generate that? Or it's not in here, it's inside of a quest kill enemies, yeah. So this is where it's setting the objective. So I think we'll have another function in here, which is a var function create objective. And what this will have is the like text, the string or whatever, the required amount to be an int. So I think that'll work. And then we can say objectives dot push back dictionary, which is, I guess we do name or something, I don't know. Required and then current amount. Will be required amount. Current amount will be 0. So I think that'll work. And then we're gonna have to handle how, I guess we already checking when those are complete and stuff. Well, we could have another thing in here. We could do function update objective. And then, I guess how would we handle which one it is? It's going to be an array. We can just choose which thing it is. Difference. Change will be an int. So now we're going to say objectives at index dot required amount is plus equals change. We're also going to say if not is complete. And we'll loop through for I in objectives. We'll say var finished is false. We'll say it's true if I dot required amount is less than or I dot current amount. I dot required amount, then finished is false, and say break. Then at the end, if finished, we say complete. That should be it. Alright, so this will be a better way to do it, I think. Objective, name. Alright, so now we won't have this one objective string anymore. We'll just hide that. Save that. We're gonna have to restart the game. Yeah, there it goes. Alright, so back in here. Instead of just setting progress on one thing now, we don't really have to do that anymore. And I think I might change connect signals to set up objectives. Where's it? Okay. I guess that's really what configure is. Let's just change this back to connect signals. That'll be fine. Why is this not happy? All right. And this is going to be signals. Okay, so instead of setting amount and all that business, we don't have to do that anymore. So we're just going to say objectives. We're going to say set objective. Or add objective. Whatever it is. That's update objective, create objective. Ooh. And then we have a required amount, which will be amount. All right. Then the text of that is just going to say kill. And we won't show like the 0 out of 1 thing anymore. So we won't show amount. We're just going to say kill 0, which is our entity name. And then we show the image. All right. What is this? Oh. Okay, so what this is going to do, when we first create our quest, it's going to say run configure. Configure inside of this is going to run this, calculates all our stuff, gets our enemies, so it figures out our amount. Then it's going to run create objective. It's going to say kill enemy, and then show the amount. So for example, let's say like kill Dreadcap 0 out of 1. That's the way we'll format it. So that should be good. And then we're going to use update objective for changing the objective now. So instead of just saying here, we're just going to say if entity is equal to enemy ID here, we will say update objective index 0 and change will be 1. And now we don't have to worry about checking for if it's all complete, because it's just going to loop through every single time and check all of the objectives until they're all complete. So this should work pretty well, I think. I just want to have a more automated system for dealing with objectives and quantities and stuff like that. I think it's going to work better. I think we're good then. Create objective. So anywhere where we reference objective now is going to have to go away. So we're going to have to dive through all of our scripts again. Multiplayer setup. I feel like we probably mentioned it in here. Objective. We don't. We probably do inside of the player, though. I'm pretty sure we do. Okay, it's just this one spot here, so it's pretty easy to fix. So what we're going to say here is append text. And I just want to do quest reference dot name. And I guess we'll do format. It's easier. Two. Now we're going to say 0 with font size of 22. And then after that, we append all of the smaller stuff. So for objective in quest, now we're going to say, give that a new line. And then this is going to be a font size 18. So it's just going to be objective. Maybe we do like a vertical line like that. And then 1 out of 2. So that's going to be quest.objectives. Or it's going to be, we already have objectives. So it's quest or objective dot name. Objective dot current amount. And objective dot required amount. So that should display it properly. Save that. We also have to fix the quest board also. So let's go do that. Anywhere we mention objective, basically, which is just right here, so it's not really that bad. So we're just gonna say for I in new quest dot objectives. Gonna basically do the exact same thing we did on the player here. We're going to say description label. Dot append text. I think that should be fine. All right, let's see if this works now. And it allows us to do like just multiple objectives really easy. So on our quest for gathering items, now what we can do is just loop through and decide how many different items we have to gather, right? So it makes it very convenient for setting up stuff like that. And I think almost every single quest has like a numerical objective like that. I mean, of course, some maybe like a more story focused quest would be like, do this thing for this guy instead of like a number. But for that, we can still do like 0 out of 1. It'd be fine. We'll figure it out. So let's just see if this works and displays properly. It is not happening. Oops, for objectives. Oh, and new quest dot objectives. My bad. Then we don't append that anymore. There we go. I might, instead of like a line like that, I think what might look better is just some parentheses like this around the numerical value, right? Same with here. Yeah, I like how that looks. So it's like kill mushroom 0 out of 13. Blah blah blah. And now we can say accept. And we forgot to do it here too. Whoops. So now it shows over there on the right, kill enemies, and then it says kill mushroom 0 out of 6. We could change that instead of kill mushroom. We could just make it say kill enemies mushroom 0 out of 13 instead. Because if the quest is to kill an enemy, we don't have to repeat ourselves and say kill enemy again, you know. So we can just say 0. Like that. Now, that doesn't... Or it's too late, it's already been generated, so we have to relaunch the game. But doing this gets us extremely close to questing being, like, implemented. And usable, right? Really, the only thing left is just kind of link up the buttons for discarding, or discarding should already work. We have to experiment with that. We need to now add in the currently accepted quests into the active list, because right now they're not, so we'll do that. Yeah, hopefully we can get this working. I think we can. Excuse me. Let's see. Yeah, I like how that is. And then these ones don't have any objectives set because I haven't set it up in the code yet, so it's just empty. But that's good. Yeah, we say kill enemies. Now it shows over here. Boring hive 0 to 5. And we could also like modify this more on the player. Like we can double check like has that quantity actually reached the required amount, and if so, then we can do like a strike through. Stuff like that. It is throwing a quadrillion errors, but it's just this issue again where I can't get the sprite. So it's fine. Yeah, I don't know why I keep saying can't find, like, Res 5. Because I don't even have image there anymore. So that's kind of really confusing. I mean, it could be doing that in here, but it doesn't... I don't even have it set up to display the image, so I'm actually kind of confused on why it's complaining about that. Objective name, current amount, and required amount. Just can't find a resource res 5. I don't know why it's throwing that error. It's kind of odd. I might restart and reload the engine, because it just doesn't make any sense. I'm not using the image tag anymore. It would make sense if I was, but I'm not, so I don't know what it's doing. Unless using parentheses with BB code is like means something. You know? Like maybe it means it's trying to access that as a link or a link to that resource or something. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, I don't know. Alright, let's see if this is still happening. Hopefully it doesn't. This funny bug. Whoa, new sneak peek on the Oshik Discord? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on. Things are going down. We gotta take a look at this. Sneak peeks. Transporting game to Godot. Yeah. Probably for the better. I hate GameMaker. But there are cool games made with GameMaker. It's not that I think it's unusable, but at least for me, ooh. There's the board, what you got going on. Flying enemy. Okay, a bunch of signals. Upgrades, enemy states. Nice, nice. It's looking good. It's good to think about the architecture of all that stuff. Alrighty, so let's see if this error keeps happening. I really don't know what to do if it's still screaming about that, because it just doesn't make any sense. What is the deal? Resource file not found res 5. Do you guys see any res used in here? I don't. It's really confusing. There's no image stuff in here, unless it's down in here and that's what the name is. I guess that might make sense. Okay, okay. So it does use image, but it should be accessing this now. Oh. For some reason that was still set to 2. Okay, I think we figured it out. May have been a stupid mistake. Perhaps. Was watching Pomo muted over here. There's much struggle. It's probably Lima. Lima beans. Oh. He got it. Is that LMG for light machine gun? I guess so. Yeah, he's still trying it out. I'll have to watch the VOD after. But yeah. Hopefully he's having a good time. It's really hard to balance something like Morse code because like to some people it's really easy if you start to like memorize the characters and stuff. And then to other people it's enormously hard. I think the solution is just to add in like a difficulty slider or something. You know? Easy, medium, and hard mode. Probably make it a little bit easier. A little more accessible to people. There we go. Now it shows the icon. I do think, though, that it needs to have a little gap. So, quest kill enemies. After image, I'm going to add another space. But, should be okay. Alrighty. I think we're good to go. We can accept, it shows a thing on the side. And then let's make sure if we actually kill these guys. So let's do create, res, scenes, enemies, dot, boring hive. And just kill this really quick. So that went to 9. That's not what's supposed to happen. I think I made a mistake in the code. It's because I said required amount. Whoops. Let's restart everything and try again. Someone just pulled up like a Morse code cheat sheet. Yeah, I think he found the bug where your upgrades last between rounds. So. So what am I testing with this now? Oh yeah, just to make sure the objectives are updating and stuff. Hopefully we get one that's really easy for me to complete so I can test it. I have to kill 10 slimes? Alright. Let's get working. Now, if I kill the children of the slime, does that count as a kill? Yes, it does. I kind of don't mind that. So, for some reason it showed 12 out of 10, which shouldn't happen. Because what it should be at right now is it should say, hey, the quest is completed, but it's not. So let's go take a look at this update objective. If it's not complete, we say current amount plus equals change. And then we say if current amount is less than required amount, yeah. Oh, I'm stupid. I have to say if objectives at index. That would be why. So next slime guy that we kill, it should go ahead and set that to brokered amount. Yeah. Alright, well that should be working now. It's still dropping it though. I wonder what's It's probably because this resource has already been loaded, or the quest resource, so I have to completely restart everything. Objectives at index.current amount is less than required amount of the break. Otherwise, if it's all finished, we say complete is complete. Oh, we don't say that anymore. We say is complete is true. And completed.emit. Okay, that's probably why it wasn't working. Hopefully with that, everything will be fine. Let's test it. Yeah, there we go. So now we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and just say in here, if we've hit that amount for that one objective, then cross it off in the player list. I need to figure out how to do a strike through. Let me see in here. Let's just go to Godot BB code. So it's just S. Okay. It's pretty easy. So what we're going to do is, for each one that is complete, we'll do the strike through, otherwise don't. So this one I'm just going to put S, and then at the very end of everything, /S. And we're just gonna say if objective current amount is greater than or equal to objective required amount, then we know that it's that it's been completed. Let's see what it looks like. Should show a strike through now when we complete one of those. There you go. Sorry for spending so long on questing stuff, guys, but it's important that I end up with a format that's gonna work. I don't want to add something into the game that I'm gonna have to fix later on again, so. What's the easiest one in here? Kill 8 ancient automatons? Sure. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. And when I kill this guy, boom, and that shows a strike through. Although for some reason that one shows a strike through. The strike through's weird. Let's go fix that. I thought I did it right. Should just be /S. Yeah. Maybe I just have to include the strike through before I do the new lines. Let's see. There we go. Nope, it still shows it being weird. So why is it not working? Is it because I'm not closing font size? Maybe that's why. So it's just confused. Let's see if that works. Oh, there we go. And I can also make it turn a little bit gray too, right? So we could just do, whatever. Color is equal to gray. Like that. There we go. That looks good. I like how that is, I think. We can also make it so the image color is gray as well. Well, I guess that won't really look as good. We can try it though. Oh, but I can't really do that because I have to do that inside of the initial image tag. I can't like add it on after. It's a little weird. But it's fine. We won't do that then. It'd probably look weird anyways. So I might do light gray. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks good. Ugh. Okay, so that works. The only thing is that if I view that quest now inside of the quest board, I do want to make sure that it updates live with like what the current stuff should look like here. So I might make a function for generating that little line. Might just be the easiest way to do it. So we need to work on the active list now. Let's go ahead and do that. So if we go over to our quest board again, and back and populate, we're just going to kind of do the same thing. So we're going to say for I in active list, get children, queue free, and then same thing here. We're just going to add all these buttons for quest in, and this is going to be in our global. First off, let's say if global active player, request in global active player dot active quests, and we're gonna say active list. Hopefully that works. Let's try it out. Can't believe we made all this sometimes. Appreciate it. It's just all biting little chunks off, you know? Gotta take it one at a time. Alright, so now that shows collect there. And then when we hit collect, it should go ahead and update everything. So let's go do that. So down in here on action pressed, we're gonna say bop, erase, and then we're gonna say repopulate again. Just to refresh all the buttons and make sure it's proper. And then this one, we don't want to call complete again. That doesn't make any sense. Right? Or no, I guess it doesn't matter. Okay. We do want to call complete. Anyways, now let's just test this again. Antoid husk. Enemies. Antoid husk. Must have done it wrong. There we go. Ah, he's evil. But yeah, making stuff like this is hard. Creating Starground has been a very arduous process, you know. I think it's really easy to just glance at what the game is right now and be like, oh my god, how did you do it all? But really, it's been years, like over a year, almost 2 years of like daily hard work, you know? It's a lot of work. Okay, so we gotta kill enemies. If I hit collect... Yes. It does that. The thing we need to do that with, though, is we also have to say active... Set active quest to null. Or before we say populate. Just so that, we don't, still show this quest, right? Because it's a little broken. So it's, unfortunately all these quests are gather items, but I can say time, 600. And that should, like, instantly reset the day. Yeah. Oh, nice. These ones are easy. Okay, 5 boring. That's what this stream is right now. Boring. Sorry about that guy. Oh, God mode. Alright, that quest is done. Go to active, kill enemies, collect. Boom. And now it resets. It doesn't show anything. So I'm gonna make it so this stuff doesn't appear when we don't have an active quest, right? I'll just make the button probably disabled. Or just hide this stuff, honestly. Wait, it's never not boring? I know, insane. Game development can be boring sometimes. So what I want to do is hide all of this garbage, the details box. Honestly, what I could do is just say visibility modulate. Just like hide it like that. The only thing is that it doesn't hide the stuff, and it's a little funny. Let's just go through and do it properly. So we'll say action button dot visible is equal to new quest. Same with our rewards grid and our label grid and all that stuff. Pomo is going through it right now with my game. Like looking at these charts and stuff. I feel bad. Dot, yeah. Dot dash. Dot dash. Dot. Dot dash dash. Dot dash dash dash. Yeah. That's a pretty good way to visualize it. Leaving a comment. Okay, so let's make sure all these things go away. So, should hide the action button. I need to hide this separator, the rewards, and this separator. So action button goes away. This separator goes away. Same with rewards, same with this label, which we already have set, and this separator. And that should now be good, I hope. Yeah. New quest, if new quest. Alright, let's try this out. Relaunching the game. Alrighty. quest board. When we first go in there, it should already be on our empty screen, because I think I say set active quest to null. Okay. I don't know why. Oh. I'm gonna have to do that on all these. Because otherwise it's not actually becoming a Boolean. It becomes a Boolean when I say if, because that basically casts this as a Boolean. But it doesn't work that way. Alright, cool. So when we go in there, it's empty. You click on a thing, and then all the stuff pops in. So let's just test one here. Kill 5 boring. Let's go God mode. Enemies, boring. Alright, quest is complete. Go in here, active quest, kill enemies, collect, boom, it goes away, doesn't show up in here. We're gaming. I think that's it. Now, obviously this doesn't work on multiplayer yet. You know, which is gonna be, it's gonna be rough to get it all working on multiplayer. But we gotta take it step by step. We're getting there. So yeah. So next thing that we can do is go ahead and actually reward the player with the items when they accept the quest. So just down in here, on this one, we want to do quest populate. So for I in active quest dot rewards. Now rewards, I believe, are going to be what is the format of rewards? I think it's just going to be ID and quantity. I think. Let me go double check what that is. It's going to be inside the loot table. And I think I just have one for each quest. Yeah. Okay, so it's weight, ID, and quantity. But when it actually gets generated in here, that's what I need to double check on. For generate rewards. Okay, so all it's going to become is just rewards I push back. Oh, it just becomes an item dictionary. Nice, that's good. So I can literally just use that to drop the item. Then I say global.create, global.main.create item. Data. So that's just going to be item.duplicate. True. Position is global.active player global position, and velocity will be just 0. So what that's going to do is drop all the items at the player's feet. Should at least. So let's go double check if that works. So we have to accept a new one now. Let's do the Fearwig one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alrighty. Quest complete. Click collect. Boom, it drops our items. We're gaming, guys. Well, questing is functional now, which is sick. Gambling. I love to gamble. When did I get all these things? Like the preserved clover. I guess I got that from an enemy at some point. Yeah. Alright, what's next? I mean, really, I think it's mainly just, gonna be like the minor stuff. Sounds. Little cool tips and whatnot, you know. But yeah. And just adding in more quests. One thing I do want to implement, though, is with, like, the gather items quest. I do want players to be able to, only accept the quest if they still have those items in their inventory, right? So that is something that I would like. Because I want it to be, I think with the gather items quest, it's almost like a trade. Where if you gather those items, it takes those items away from you. I will need some way to indicate that, though. Of like, when, or that an item that's, or an objective that's required for the quest goes away, you know? I don't know how I'll do that. I mean, as long as I give a good quest description, it's probably fine. Yeah, we'll figure that out. Not really leaving a whole lot of space for the description here, am I? I wonder if I might change the UI around a little bit where we have description box on left and button, and then on the right it shows the rewards and stuff and the objective. That might be the way to do it. Just so we have a little more vertical space for the description. Because as it is now, it's a little tight. But let's go ahead and add on a description to one of these. Just to see what it looks like. So this one's going to be like, I'm real tired of these guys running around. Hey, Solomon Gumball 1, welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid. How's it going? Yeah, what were you up to today on your stream? We are currently working on my game Starground. We're working on a questing system right now. It's going pretty good. We've got it at a playable spot, which is great. Still needs a lot of tweaking, though, of course. And one of the big challenge that I fear is I still have to make it work with multiplayer. So Pup That Draws, thank you for the follow. And making it work with multiplayer is really hard. So I don't know. We'll have to figure out the way we're gonna do that. But it's coming along. I can load up the game in here in just 1 second and show you guys what it's all about. Can grab them for me. I was working on some fun Godot stuff for making an old game. Oh, nice. That's awesome. If you've got links or anything, or images or whatever, you're totally welcome to send them in chat. So I'm gonna abandon an older project because it required multiplayer. I totally feel that. Multiplayer is very hard. This game is multiplayer, Starground, and it's been a pain, honestly, to implement. But multiplayer is cool, I'm not gonna lie. But man, it really does complicate things. I don't know. I think if I were to do another multiplayer game, I'd probably only do it for a really simple game, you know? The problem with Starground is like, so the Starground's like a automation plus dungeon crawler. It's complicated because like I have to sync all the positions of buildings and all this data, save data, player data. There's a billion things. It's a nightmare. But yeah. The first big multiplayer project trademark. Yeah, it's always a pain. But I will say, I mean, I don't regret doing multiplayer for Starground. It's definitely taught me a lot about how to do it, which has been great. I feel like now with the knowledge I've learned from this game with multiplayer, I can tackle anything, you know. So, but it doesn't mean it's been easy. Okay, we definitely gotta mess with this UI a bit because it's repeating some things apparently, which is a little odd. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, I think I want to change the layout of how all this is. Because we have more horizontal space that we can utilize here. Can't imagine the mini-map will be a problem. So I don't know why it said quest monitoring started. I think that's just because it generated the 5 initial quests. Syncing definitely seems like coded personal hell, yeah. It's a nightmare. It just gets messy, you know, all the little things that you have to sync. You know, positions of every single entity in the entire world, and items and inventory systems, and what things are active, right? Like all these quests, I'm gonna have to figure out how to sync on multiplayer, right? Of being like, so people end up with the same quests. I want it like that, because then you and your friends can accept the same quest and do it together at the same time, right? Which is pretty important. I feel like that's definitely a nice thing to have. But it does really complicate everything. So, it's hard. Yeah, this is why I never recommend people to do multiplayer for a first game, because you're gonna get so burnt out. I feel like it's kind of the only, you know, one of those things you should only tackle if you already have made a game before. So. I do like how tiny the player is, yeah. Yeah, the player's pretty tiny compared to everything around. He's just a little guy. I always play really zoomed out, so he probably looks tinier than he actually is, but yeah. I always imagine the player being like, maybe like 2 or 3 feet tall. Like pretty tiny, pretty short compared to everybody else, you know? But yeah. Like, this guy's probably more human height, I imagine. There's not really humans in this universe. Well, there was, I suppose. I don't really have, like, a name for the species of the Starground guy. Oh, he's just called Starground guy. I don't know. Yeah, Hobbit Space Explorer. Basically. Everybody else has like a species name. These guys are called, I never remember their name, but they do have a species name. The guys with the horns. Then there's the plant guys. I'm pretty sure they also have a species name. All these other guys are fleshed out except the player. So thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. Yeah, I think the questing system is looking good. We still need to work on the UI stuff more. Because right now it's very compact with the description and all that stuff. It's hard to read, but should be able to make it all work, I think. And then also, we should be able to accept multiple quests just fine. I'm gonna just double check that right now, though. Should be able to like do that and have a bunch active at one time. And now if we go into our active, it shows all of them. So our discard button does not seem to be working. Okay, it does work, but it's showing a collect for some reason, so I just have to fix that and turn it into a discard. Let's go take a look at that right now. Half space traveler, because travel space and takes up half the space, yeah. Man. So if new quest not completed, This is in set active quest. Then it'll say text is collect. Otherwise, text is discard. Yeah, I don't know why it's not setting it to discard. Oh, it's because that's the wrong, I have to say is complete. Whoops. Now it should work. Because I was checking like if a signal exists or whatever, so. Here, if I go ahead and say set time, or time 600, that resets all the things. There we go. So now, if I accept, it should say discard here. Boom, it gets rid of the quest without accepting it, or without completing it. Cool. Alright. Do you recommend Godot for making FPS games like Ultra Kill or like? Yeah, I think you could definitely do that in Godot. I've had a good experience with the 3D in Godot. I mean, if it's your first game ever, you know, of course, I'd probably recommend sticking with 2D for your first project because it's just way easier to do. But Godot can handle 3D stuff pretty well. I think you could easily do an FPS. As long as you have a little bit of 3D modeling knowledge and stuff like that already. Yeah. Godot's honestly pretty good for almost everything. Like, people always ask that question about Godot, but it's very versatile, and I don't really think there's not really a whole lot that you can't do in Godot. So X-Mode Gaming, welcome in. Did I accidentally discard the quest? Nah, I want to do it on purpose. It's okay. Yeah, I can't decide if I want to use Godot or Unreal. I think it depends on your background. If you've already done a lot of C++ programming, then Unreal might feel a little more comfortable to use. But otherwise, if you're trying to learn or jumping into it fresh, then I would probably recommend Godot. Unreal can be a little bit complicated sometimes. Also, we got ads starting in a second. I do apologize. I cannot stock them. Unreal has blueprints if it doesn't want to code. Yeah, I mean, you can do blueprints. I haven't messed with blueprints. In my past experience using visual-based programming like that, I find that it works okay in the beginning, but then you eventually hit the spot where, like, you have so many different links and everything, it gets really messy. I've been down that road with GameMaker before, and it was a mess. I was like, oh my god. I very much regretted using visual programming. So I think it works okay for some things. Like, for example, a shader. It kind of works really well since a shader is like a standalone piece of code, right? Like, shaders don't typically interact with very much of the rest of your project. It's just a very little isolated thing. Even then, though, I don't do visual shader node editing. I just do like actual code for shaders. So I don't know. I feel the same, but it works for generic games for using assets with it. Yeah, it just depends on what your goals are and stuff. I mean, I personally think it's better just to bite the bullet and actual like learn a full-on programming language. But yeah, sorry about the ads. I do apologize, but welcome back. I'm just talking about like buttons or visual programming versus you know, actual programming, whatever, traditional programming. But yeah, I would recommend like just taking a look at both. There's never a right or wrong answer for which engine to use. They all have pros and cons, you know. I think Godot is, and personally I think it's great, but there are limitations. I don't think Godot is as feature rich as something like Unreal. It's not as expansive. You know, if you're working with like a really big team and stuff like that, it's probably better to go with something a little more fully developed like Unreal. But I don't know. Definitely take a look at Godot though. I'd say just experiment with it a little bit. Maybe just try programming a couple of basic things, because that's basically what I did. I wasn't just immediately like, okay, I'm going to use Godot now, right? Like, I looked into it a little bit. I was like, okay, this looks kind of interesting. So I jumped into it, programmed some little basic things. I made this little simple, like, puzzle game It just gives you a good feel of the engine, you know? And if you end up really enjoying the experience, then I think it's a good sign that you should just move on with that engine, right? But definitely explore your options, right? I wouldn't make that decision blindly. I think it's important to like really get a hands-on feel for all the different engines and stuff. So yeah, that's just what I think. And again, there's no right or wrong. It just depends on what you enjoy using more. So even though I like Godot way more than Unreal, it doesn't mean that everybody does, right? So to me, it seems that if you're not a team of 50 plus devs with contact the Unreal team, that's pointless. Unity or Godot is better. Yeah. I'm kind of in that same boat. I do agree. I think like, unless you're a really large team of people, it's probably going to be, you know, a better bet to go with a more beginner, like a smaller team, more friendly engine like Unity or Godot. Unreal definitely has strengths, I think, especially with like creating good looking scenes and stuff. But at the same time, I think if you're trying to aim for hyper realistic graphics, you're probably going to fail unless you're like a part of a massive team, right? It's just really hard. And you can use pre-existing asset packs, but it tends to just look kind of bad, in my opinion. I can always tell. The only thing that's holding me back from Godot is GD script. I've had a pretty good experience learning GD script. What languages do you already know? Do you like already know other stuff like C# or C++ and stuff? Because another thing to keep in mind is Godot does support multiple different languages. So you don't have to use GD script. Godot has support for the main two are GD script and C#. So, but the thing too is that there's a lot of GD extension like packs. You can do like Godot Rust, you know, and stuff like this. Oh, none. Okay. Well, honestly, I think GD script is way easier to learn than something like C++ or C# or whatever. GD script is basically Python, just slightly different in some of the syntax and functions and stuff. But yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're going into programming as somebody that hasn't done it before, has done art mainly, I think GD script is actually a really good language to learn. The only time I would recommend not using GD script is if you already have a lot of experience in a specific language. Like if you've used Unity forever and you know C# really well, then you could use C# in Godot. But otherwise, I think GD script is pretty nice. I mean, what's like the, you know, what are the obstacles that you're running into with GD script? Because there's a lot of good documentation too, and tutorials. I remember, like, I think initially it was weird to wrap my head around the concept of like nodes and stuff, or like everything being a node. It was a little wacky because a lot of engines don't really do that. I mean, you have like objects in some engines, like prefabs, like Unity has prefabs, and same with like GameMaker has objects and stuff like that. It's basically that same concept, but I think the difference with the Godot though is it's kind of like forced in a way. Like everything has to be some kind of node, which is a good thing. I kind of do like that system actually. Makes inheritance really nice to deal with. Okay. Well, things are looking good here with the quest stuff. Yeah, that doesn't show the objectives because it's... Okay, so something I want to fix here is whenever we have that, when we say populate, I don't think it's clearing out the description stuff. It is definitely not. As far as I can tell. So we just have to say, oh no, we do say description label.clear though. I don't know why it's like duplicating the description then. It's pretty weird. Because we just say it's equal to description. Oh, we're also appending description again on top. Well, that's probably why it's being stupid. I just can't wrap my head around programming. Yeah. It can definitely be weird. You know, I mean, honestly, it's basically like learning a new language, right? There's a lot of new rules that you have to learn about and understand, and different scenarios when you use things a certain way. It can be complicated for sure. But I think it's just, you know, there's no need to rush. I would just start extremely small and simple, right? I think one of the best sources of information, if you're thinking about Godot, is the documentation here. You can just search Godot docs or whatever. And there's a whole section in here in getting started. There's a step-by-step tutorial, right? So it goes through every little minor thing and tells you what everything's about. So it talks about what are nodes, what are scenes, creating your first scene. It also goes over like creating a script and stuff, just the classic hello world stuff, right? I think that's over on the next page actually. It's creating instances. But I feel like this is a really good, you know, tutorial for like somebody starting from nothing with programming. Because as like creating your first script, I think this is really good. It goes over, it just tells you how to print hello world, you know, the classic super easy stuff. Right there. But yeah. And it tells you like what these other functions are, right? So like process, what is the process function? What does that do? Shows you how to rotate a thing around. And I think listening to player input. This is just a really basic tutorial to tell you how to like make your character move around. So I feel like GDScript is the most accessible program language to learn because the docs tell you exactly how it works without too much technical stuff. Yeah, it is really nice. I've had a really good experience learning GDScript. Because like, yeah, like you said, there's not really a whole lot of like weird complex things that you have to understand. I mean, of course, if you dive into some crazy stuff, it can get a little tricky. Like messing around with like procedural geometry and, you know, but of course that's just going to be hard regardless of anything, regardless of language or engine, so. But for most things, it's not that bad to learn, in my opinion. Yeah, I would check it out. Also take a look at Unreal and its blueprinting system. You know, just to see if that works a little bit better for you too. You could check it out. But yeah. Hold on one second, I'm just gonna make a little comment over here. Now this person saying the codes are correct, I can write them correctly. There's a bug which I'll say which requires all the entered text to be in lowercase. I'll be fixing that soon. Create the reply. Yeah, there's this little notification system on Dance Jam now, which is epic. I don't know why the horizontal sizing of this stuff is whack. I'll take an image of that just to tell Adagon. But it really, I think it's just because the box is just going to be wrapping to the text, but it really should be like a static size and then have the text wrap inside of that. But yeah. Have I used Unreal before? I've dabbled with it. I haven't made like a full-on game with it before, but I'm somewhat familiar with it, you know. I know a couple of the basics, but I don't think I'm at the point where I could really teach anybody much about it. I know that Unreal has blueprints, which is basically what it is it's a visual scripting language. So it lets you program without having to like type in things. Basically, you have these blocks of code, and you just connect them up with lines. So to some people, that might be a little more accessible if you've never programmed before. It's something that you could definitely take a look at. Yeah, it just has stuff in here like for loop but I mean, you still have to understand what all these things are doing, though. So I think Godot might also have a visual. Maybe a visual scripting thing? I feel like I remember that. Well, they have visual shader. That might be the thing I'm thinking of. So Godot has visual shaders, but not I don't think it has visual scripting. But blueprinting is interesting. I just personally think every time I've ever tried to do anything with a visual scripting language like this, like Blueprint, it always just becomes a mess. Like, you end up getting into stuff like this where there's like a million of these lines everywhere, and it's a nightmare. You know, you get like this stuff, and it's like, oh my god. Trying to organize a project like this is just impossible, so it does start to get pretty bad. So that's why I'd recommend maybe just biting the bullet and trying to learn an actual language versus a visual one, but it just depends. I mean, it also matters a lot, like what is the scale of the game you're planning on, right? So okay, so 3.0 had visual scripting. I guess they just didn't include it anymore. Interesting. Yeah, there's some stuff like that that they like have become depreciated in for. Do you think the skills you learned in Godot are transferable to Unreal? If in the future you want to switch? I definitely think so. I think learning Godot is just learning general programming principles and concepts, right? And a lot of this stuff is very transferable. I've used a lot of engines before. I used GameMaker, Unity, and stuff like that, and since I already knew so much from those engines, going into Godot was easy. Learning it was really easy for me. And I imagine it's the exact same way the other way around. If you know Godot really well, it probably won't be that bad to move to another engine if you want. But yeah, a lot of the stuff in here is just core concepts. Like the process event, almost every single engine I've used has had a process event. What this is, it might be called a different thing. I think in GameMaker it's called step, and then in Unity it's called update. But all it is just it's a chunk of code that runs every single frame of your game, right? So I don't know, stuff like that is completely transferable because basically every engine has it. And just general like using the editor, stuff like modifying position rotation of objects or whatever, almost every editor has that too. A lot of the same functions, honestly, also. There's a lot of similarities between game engines. I think it's usually pretty transferable. There's some plugin now? Okay. Yeah, visual scripting plugin. Interesting. There's a lot of cool assets for Godot. I wish I should probably look through these someday a little more. I've seen some pretty interesting ones though. Like text-to-speech is kind of cool. I would love to do that. What I would love to do is implement something in Godot that would like listen back to the person's microphone and then like train an AI voice off of that input. I know it would be pretty tricky and probably take a lot of training data, but imagine you're playing a horror game and then the monster starts talking in your voice but saying things that you didn't say. I think that would be so cool. That's the kind of use of AI that I think is actually really epic in games. Is like when it actually adds something new instead of just trying to skimp out on something else. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of cool ones. But I don't know. The thing is, like, most of the time when it comes to plugins and me with Godot is like, I'd kind of rather just make my own stuff. I mean, some of these are cool and all, I'm not gonna lie. But whenever I've tried to use plugins before, you kind of hit this point where it's like, you rely too much on them, and then whenever you have an issue, you're kind of stuck. At least when you make your own code, it's like you know every part about it. So you can like dive into it and fix anything or change things, right? But this is cool though, a rich text 3D node. I do wish there was more stuff like this in 3D for Godot, because this is just an epic thing to have. That's pretty cool, actually. Is that even possible to do, considering time and power needed to train it? I don't know. Well, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, it definitely wouldn't be easy to do. But I think someday in the future it'll be feasible. I just think it would be really cool. I don't know. Maybe that's something I'll mess around with someday. Like a machine learning algorithm to replicate somebody's voice. It would be fun. I mean, they have like stuff like this. But that's not quite the same thing. I'm not really looking for an LLM. It's more of a generative voice. Text to speech, basically. They do have regular text to speech, which is fine. But it's not quite the same. I think some modern Lethal Company records clips and play it back. Yeah, I've seen that one before, and that's kind of another solution, you know, that you can do. I've definitely seen a lot of games do that. I just think the downfall, though, with that is sometimes, like, the lines that it spits back out sometimes are just not, don't make any sense, you know? I wish there was a way to, like, just capture that voice and, like, say different things, but, you know. It's easier said than done, for sure. What is this stuff? What's conductor? Syncing game events to music. Can I sort by, like, top of all time? Order by... Nope. I wish there was that, though, like a ranking system. What's the situation with the Godot asset store? Is it, like, up and running yet? That's the one I was just on. I think it's in beta, yeah. Okay, so it is here. But yeah, I don't think it's still in beta. It would be really fun to put stuff up on here, though. Maybe I will. Asset I'm using is this. Let's check it out. Debloat array. Yeah. Interesting. Oh yes, that gets rid of like the little drop downs. That is actually pretty nice. Yeah, that's cool. I do like that. I always hate having to drag and all the just extra bloat around, yeah. That's pretty cool. I think plugins like that are fine, you know? Just stuff like little tweaks and quality of life things. Where's the asset store? There it is. Yeah, there's some crazy stuff that people make on here. The great thing about an actual asset store like this is it has like a ranking stuff. It has ranking here. Like this rich text 3D. So you can sort by like top stuff. Instead of just being lost in an ocean of millions of different plugins, kind of not knowing if they're actually good or not. this is a great way to like actually use the ones that are other people have had a good experience with. That's the one thing missing from this one. But yeah, this will be a really interesting one because I'm pretty sure this one allows you to sell things, right, for money. Which is definitely going to be interesting. Like having an asset store for like, you know, asset packs or whatever, sound packs, that's going to be pretty nice. Not that I would really ever buy any of them or use them, but I think for a lot of people it's very convenient. It looks like all of these right now are all free. I don't know if you can even make ones that cost money yet, but I imagine that you'll be able to. Godot icons. Yeah. Quite okay image format. I know there's the audio format. Interesting. It's very interesting. Line 3D. See, I love stuff like that. New nodes for 3D. Because there are some really nice nodes for 2D that just aren't in 3D, which is unfortunate. Discord RPC. Like, this would be cool. Yeah, like Steam launch commands and stuff like that. Yeah, it just depends on the plugin. Some of them are really cool, but I don't know if I can somehow get more attention to a Godot pull request. I think the best way probably is just to chat about it on the Discord, and get some people looking at it and stuff. You can just go to like the Godot Engine Discord, and there's probably a channel in here for that, I imagine. What are the different channels in here? Yeah, probably like one of these. If not that one, there's also the other Godot server. The Godot Cafe server. I actually left that server because it's not like it's not an official Godot server, so I'm not sure if it's, you know, I don't know. I just don't use it anymore. But yeah, this would probably be the place to do it. I don't know what channel it would be in, but I'm sure there's one in here. But yeah, I mean, you could also talk about it, like, maybe could find it personally, yeah. If it's not on this server, then you can try the Godot Cafe server. It's basically this one, but not official. But there's still a lot of people on it. Because that used to be, like, the official... Well, it wasn't official ever, but it used to be the one everybody used, so... But there's that. You could always talk about it on Reddit. Yo, Twitcher's here. Just make a post and talk about whatever the thing is. What is the pull request that you're want to get more attention to? Yeah, let's take a look. Okay, yeah. The editor inspection is blocked by the container property. Yeah. It's probably because it's got conflicts, or is like one of the issues. Wonder what those conflicts are. But yeah, those could probably be worked out. I mean, they added it to the 4.5 milestone, so it's probably something that'll be taken a look at eventually, I imagine. Doesn't seem like it would be a super difficult thing to merge in, so. Didn't have those when I submitted it? Oh, okay. Well, somebody has paid attention to it and added it to the 4.5 milestone. 1,000 ships, whoever this person is. They're just a Godot maintainer, so yeah. But that's a good sign. So. But yeah. Yeah, I forgot 4.5's coming out soon. I'm excited for that one. I hope it fixes all the problems with tile sets. Okay, so they have like different checks and stuff that run here. Yeah, I'm sure they got a little fancy. Yeah, there are so many issues that people report. There's still 12,000 open issues, which is crazy. That's insane. It's so nice that Godot is open source, because like if you have a problem with the engine, then you can just fix it, you know? It's kind of awesome. That's something you can't do with other engines like Unity or Unreal, because it's all closed source. You just have to hope and pray that they actually fix your problem, you know? So with this, like, do you have to edit? Yeah, you have to do program in C++, right? Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So what's the bug here? So it's when inside an array or dictionary. No idea if I did it the right way. I think they probably have some documentation on that, I imagine. On like the proper C++ formatting. Somewhere, I bet. Like community. Contributing. Yeah, how to contribute. Technical contributions. Yeah, I mean, they say right here, mainly coordinated on our contributor rocket chat. So you could load this up, probably. So this might be the place to discuss contributions then. But yeah. So it's an issue when you have an array in the inspector? Is that what it is? So you see like export var r. Okay, array of resources, then you click edit resource. So it would be array of like whatever resource, it doesn't matter. A shader. You add a new shader. Then you click edit. Yeah, nothing happens. Interesting. Well, that would be nice to get fixed. Did I just break everything? I sure hope I didn't. This is loot chests, so it should be okay. There is no building ID for loot chests, I believe. Let me double check this. Nah, we're good. Oh, now it's got a new shader I made. Let me close that file. Let me close all these shaders. Close other tabs. Okay. All right. Well, we are approaching the 4-hour mark. I think we're at a pretty good stopping spot, honestly, for quest stuff. I know we didn't get around to a whole bunch of new dungeon stuff today, but We'll probably do that tomorrow. Start working on the new upgraded combat stuff now that like the questing is basically functional. I'll try and work on getting this all functional with multiplayer too. That's going to be the hardest part probably. But once it's set up, then we're gaming. So hopefully I can get that working. I'm probably going to keep all the quest stuff stored on the server. So like even the current active quests that a player has, only the server knows. Or stores that data. Because when like a player quits and loads back in, they're going to be loading their save data from the server, right? So I have to make sure that that quest stuff is stored there. That's probably the way I'm going to do everything. Just seems to make the most sense, you know. But yeah. It's going to be a pain, though. It's going to be pretty awful. Well, I don't really want to dive into another new thing right now, because we won't be able to even get started on it before I have to end stream, so we'll go ahead and just end right now. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming to the stream, I appreciate it. We'll be live again tomorrow, 3:30 MDT. Feel free to buy Starground, it's available on Steam right now. Join the Discord, and yeah. Let's go ahead and pick somebody to raid. Dobbs is playing Planet Crafter. I need to play Planet Crafter again. It's been a long time. I know there's been a bunch of new updates, so I'd like to check that out again one day. I'm gonna raid. Whitechapel's streaming. Working on epic art. We could raid in there probably. Alright, thank you gamers. And I will see all of you tomorrow. So have a good rest of your night. And yeah. Let's go raid Whitechapel. Alright. Goodbye everybody. Bye bye. Oh, wait, I have to start the raid. Hold on. Then I have to wait 10 seconds. Funny Twitch. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Okay, bye-bye.